That is a good place to pick up. If you can't answer yes to those questions, that you had plans, then we would consider for you that you look at new things, that you don't want to go back to normal. You want to have a whole new life that's going to change your answers to those questions. So here's our 5 Institute design process. And today we're going to talk about the Community Prosperity Institute.
But it really takes a collaborative leadership organization to look at this, because you have to have a group of individuals that are committed and passionate to changing the culture of your community, or building upon the culture of your community. Because we don't want to go back and change the history of your community. That's not what we're after. We are trying to enhance and change your environment for that to happen. But you have to understand your culture and then build upon the culture of the pieces that you want changed. Because there are some pieces of the culture that have to change over time because of the mood of the country, because of the mood of the economy, because of the values of people. They're going to change, and you have to adapt and change with those of your culture to become a moving forward community. Now, many of our communities in rural America, many of our communities in rural America have lost population, and they have not turned that trend around. So the first thing that we have to do is find out, where are you on your community? Are you a community that is growing? If you look at the trends over the last, I don't know, we're in a county to where if we looked at the trend the last 100 years, we would see no population growth. In fact, we would always see population decline
with each census.
And that is normal in this area, in the area that we live. And so we look at that, but we look at across the country, and we have to look at those counties, the true rural counties. And when we define rural counties, we're looking at populations under 20,000 countywide. Countywide, all right? And then communities about 8,000 people and below. And this is really crucial, because their people resource lack in those types of communities. And most of the time, sometimes those communities, I shouldn't say most of the time, sometimes those communities, or a lot of the times, those communities are not getting the attention, getting the resources that they deserve and that they can do, because they are
small.
They don't have a lot of the volunteer base. They don't have a lot of the people. So,
well, and when the point to that that's so important is that there's so much cool stuff that happens in small communities. There are awesome businesses and awesome trends and traditions and all kinds of really wonderful things. There are great, smart, intelligent people who can make things happen. And that's why it's so important that small itty bitty towns aren't overlooked, because there's great potential there. And that's actually going to be part of Community Builders on Friday, where we really talk about that. But that's where it's so important to focus that small towns need attention as well.
So what we're going to do is start at the beginning. We're going to start to find out where you're at. All right. And that is both quantitative research, but also, quantitative research, where you get the data, you get the hard facts, you get a very good snapshot of where your community is demographically, household income wise, households, number of houses. You get a really good snapshot of the personality people that live within your community. What actions do they take? What type of buying power do they have? What type of buying do they do? How do they live? Do they rent? Do they own? Do they own a car? Do they own a truck? It's what are their age demographics? What's the tapestry? We call that, what's the tapestry of the individual that lives within your community? Because what that will do is that will help you find out who you are right now based upon where you have come, because you have actually accumulated and attracted the individuals that are living within your community. And you have attracted that type because of the traditions and the culture that you have done as you built your community. Then we look at the qualitative data. In other words, we sit down with people face to face.
Literally,
And we talk to them the same questions that the quantitative data answer. How are your people doing? How's your economy doing? How is your community a place doing? And we get the perception. And then we look at people's perceptions versus the hard data. Does it match? And out of that rises issues and themes that you can build upon, because you have already started to do some, you already have assets within your community. So you need to start to build upon those assets, but not just build upon the physical assets, because that is short-term prosperity. That is really short-term. That gives you project-oriented focus. And what the Community Prosperity Institute does is that it helps to create a sustained and well-informed, highly collaborative partnership. Now, we did collaboration last week, but it's a highly collaborative partnership among your stakeholders, government, private, nonprofit stakeholders at the local level to address community challenges. Now, those stakeholders are a diversity of stakeholders. It's not your usual suspects. It is a broad base across the board, across the community, diversity rich. And I'm not just talking about ethnicity or race. I'm talking about thought process. Who thinks differently in your community? Who has different income in your community? Who has a different voice in your community, as well as race, age, social status, all the diversity that you can think of. That needs to be at the collaboration. That needs to be people that are involved. In fact, entrepreneurial communities do not exclude anybody. They welcome everybody, they include everybody, and they go with everybody.
This is the first of our 5 institutes. So handy dandy, Monday through Friday, we have 5 institutes in 5 days. So if this is appealing to you to learn more about what we do in Rural Community Solutions to help your community to thrive and attract people, then join us every day, Monday through Friday this week, and you will learn just a little bit about why we approach communities the way we do, the very experienced approaches that we have put in place over 30 some years of work with rural communities across America. And that will be an launching pad for where you are, where you want to go, and what you might want to do to think about your community in a new way. So Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. Central Time, YouTube or Facebook at Rural Community Solutions, or you can catch a podcast at anchor.fm/Frank Spillers. Think like an entrepreneur, become a spark plug.
So come on back tomorrow as we continue our conversation of how to create those family-friendly, youth-centered places that attract people. And tomorrow we're going to be talking about leadership. So come on back, 11:30 a.m. Central Time. I'm Frank Spillers.
And I'm Kim Spillers. Thanks so much for joining us at Rural Community Solutions. We hope you have a fabulous day and a wonderful week.
Bye for now.